Now this is the pride and joy of this bike. This is the Bafang 750 watt rear hub motor. Okay, I got it, guys. I got it. This thing weighs 85 pounds, and it is my next e-bike review. Let's get this thing built up, and let's get out to the trail. And there you go, the Highboy P6 fat bike is ready to go ride. When I was assembling this, I noticed some differences over the P7. I want to get this thing off the stand and take it out for a spin. So now that I've taken this out for my first ride, how does it compare to the P7? Well, I gotta say, this bike has fat tires, so you would think it would be a lot slower, but it is so much faster. The pedal assist and the throttle will take you up to 28 miles an hour, and that is actually 7 miles an hour faster than what the P7 will actually do. Now this e-bike comes with some fat tires, 26 by 4-inch wide tires. And these are Cho-Yang branded tires. I've never heard of this brand, but looking at the tread pattern that comes on these Cho-Yang tires is actually pretty nice. It seems really good on the road, and if you're gonna be doing some gravel riding or light off-road riding, it looks to have enough traction to get you going. Now this does come with a similar suspension to what comes on the P7, but this is designed for a fat bike. So it's a little bit wider. It doesn't seem to have any more travel, but you do get a preload adjustment and a lockout on this. And in Highboy fashion, they give you a light. Now this will come with the same levers for your brakes. They are a 3-finger lever made by Wuxing, and they also have motor shutoffs on both the front and the back brake. And Highboy stuck with the nice 760 millimeter wide bars. I really appreciate this because wide bars make it easy to control your bike. And at high speeds that these bikes can go, 28 plus miles an hour, you're definitely gonna wanna have something that's gonna make you feel really in control. Now also on the handlebars, you're going to get a Shimano Altus front shifter, and that's gonna be combined with an Altus rear derailleur that we'll take a look at here in a second. Now this P6 will come with their standard EN06 computer that has 5 levels of adjustment for your speed. It also has an odometer and a tripometer, so you can actually view how many miles you've gone on each trip and total. Now the one thing I wish this computer had was the visibility to see how many watts the bike is actually putting out. It only will show you the voltage that it's putting out. It would be really nice to be able to visually see on the screen if I was actually getting the full 750 watts. And down here, you've got your light control along with your horn. Now down here on the ground, you can see that this comes with a nice crankset. It is a square taper bottom bracket crankset that comes with a little guard to protect your pants from getting caught inside the chainring. Going all the way back to the very back here, you're gonna have the Altus 9-speed rear derailleur and the 9-speed cassette. This is gonna have a 32 tooth on the easiest gear and an 11 tooth on the smallest gear. Now one thing about this bike and this drivetrain is I do wish this front chainring was a little bit bigger so I could get even more out of the speed. 30 to 31 is about the max, and then you're just spinning out. So that's plenty fast for most people, and if you're riding on a greenway, that's really fast. But out on the road, I'm tempted to actually upgrade this to maybe even a 52 tooth. Now this is the pride and joy of this bike. This is the Bafang 750 watt rear hub motor. This is what's giving you all of your power, and I really like that they went with a Bafang. If you're not familiar in the e-bike world, Bafang is one of the biggest manufacturers for e-bike motors of all types. So really glad to see name branded rear hub motor on this bike. Now while we're back here by the rear tire, I do want to point out that the P6 does come with mounts for a rack and also for a fender. Now if you look right here, you're going to see a set of Jake mechanical brakes. These are the same brakes that come on all of Highboy's bikes. With this particular bike, it does have 180 millimeter rotors, which is pretty nice. So far, these things have successfully stopped me with no issues. However, I do wish on this fat bike, being that it weighs so much and it goes so fast, that they would switch these out for hydraulic brakes. So now we need to talk about the other key item other than the motor, and that is the battery. This isn't a huge battery. They make really big claims on their website of 30 miles on throttle only, and I haven't been able to prove that. However, I did a test run on a very hilly route with full power, throttle only, and it was very, very cold. It was below freezing, and this thing performed surprisingly well. I got around 15 miles with just throttle only on level 5 on an extremely hilly route. As normal, they have a key that locks this battery in, and you can simply unlock it just like that, and then the battery will just pop right out. This is something that's really nice about Highboy, is that they build their batteries into the frame, so it makes the bike look a lot more sleek. This particular battery has an indicator built into it that you can actually see on or off the bike. This is a nice feature on the P6 that the P7, you had to remove the battery to see this indicator. But on the P6, it's external, so you can see it simply lights up blue for full, green for half, and red for pretty much empty. So one thing about Highboy batteries I would like to see in the future is a certification, certifying that these batteries have gone through some rigorous testing. There's no certification on these, which seems to be pretty common amongst a lot of these budget branded e-bikes. Because I know getting like certified batteries like LG or Samsung, it is gonna run a little bit more, but for safety concerns, it would be nice to have a certification on their batteries. Now this is a 48 volt system, and it is a 13 amp hour, which comes out to be 624 watt hours. So now to install it, it's really simple. You just put it down in there like that, and then push down until you hear it click. And now you're ready to go ride. Now, one major downfall of this bike is there are 0 water bottle spots. So if you want to get a water bottle cage, you're going to have to get one that actually straps around the seat tube, the top tube, or you can get some that will actually attach to your handlebars. Now, one other thing, I typically don't like big cushy seats, but what I've found out riding this bike, I'm doing a lot of sitting, and it's more commute style, so I'm usually wearing jeans or some type of non-traditional cycling pant, and this is super comfy. So I really have enjoyed this for commuting around town. Definitely like that seat better than the one that came on the P7. So P6 is definitely winning me over. I really have enjoyed this bike so far. So now what I want to do is I want to take this out onto the Greenway Trail with my buddy Chad, but we're going to ride this at night, and it's going to be pretty cold tonight. So we're going to see exactly how far these batteries will actually take us. Chad is riding the P6 right now. We're going to switch off. Little fat bike is pretty stinking fun, and I'm on the P7. Now this is the Greenway Trail system in Springfield, Missouri that Chad and I took these bikes out on, and we wound up going out about 15 miles, which isn't even the total length of this trail, and decided to turn around because the batteries were getting a little bit low. We wound up with a total of 30 miles, and Chad ran out of battery on the P6 at level 3 power assist right around 28 miles. I would love to redo this in warmer conditions because I think it could go probably 40 miles without a problem in real nice conditions. A few days later, it did warm up quite a bit, so I decided to take the P6 out on a pretty hilly route that I like to actually ride my bike on, and this thing made it a breeze. I'm telling you, these e-bikes, even with the fat tires, they just make hills feel effortless, and they are so much fun to fly down the road on. This bike has surprised me in so many ways. So there's the P6. This was so much fun. Yeah, granted, it didn't quite go as far as what I would hope it would go on battery, but for commuting around town, this thing is a blast. I am totally sold on this fat tire e-bike thing. I think that these bikes are the way to go when it comes to commuting around town, riding the greenways, and some light off-road use. This is definitely not a bike that I would take on single track trail. The rear motors just have too big of a delay, but city and greenway, so much fun, so much fun. So if you guys are interested in buying one of these, of course, I'm gonna put some links below. You can pick up a Highboy e-bike, and this one runs right around $1,300, $1,400. And really, honestly, the quality of this bike surprises me. It's so solid. So many people look at these bikes that are budget and they think that they're just gonna fall apart. And yes, if you're planning on jumping this bike, it is not made for that. But for commuting around town, going on the greenway trails, some maybe gravel roads, some light trail usage, this thing can handle it. It's a ton of fun, and I'm like I said, I'm totally sold on this. I absolutely love this bike. Honestly, whenever I go ride out of this garage to go through the town, I want this bike more than any of my other bikes that I have. But it's not a trail bike, but it is an awesome commuting bike. So you guys want to stick around because I've got a whole bunch of exciting videos coming up, not just with this e-bike, but a few other bikes that I'm working on and a few other bikes that are on their way. I'm also going to be adding a rear rack to this with a saddlebag. So I'm really curious to see what I think of this as my going to the store type bike. Now, one thing I would really like from my drop-in crew is give me a suggestion for a bike lock. This thing does not have a water bottle cage on it, so I traditionally use my Kuat bike lock that slides in the water bottle cage, but this one does not have a water bottle cage. So what type of bike lock would you recommend that I can put on this that actually somehow attaches to the bike? Leave that in the comments below. I would really appreciate that. But coming up next is some upgrades for the Marin and also the Polygon. We'll see you guys in the next one.